Moving on to what I call the spatial plugins. That's like the reverbs and the delays. So absolutely exponential audio, PhoenixVerb. I love this plugin. Nimbus is the update to this. So if you have the money for it, get Nimbus. If you don't, get PhoenixVerb. If I only had one reverb plugin, PhoenixVerb would be it. And that says a lot. Next up, Echoboy. If I only had one delay plugin, Echoboy would be it. Delay is something that kind of sounds like reverb, but it takes up a lot less mix space. And Echoboy can do a lot of cool things that PhoenixVerb can't, and vice versa. Echoboy just, it's a cool plugin. What can I say? Next up, Microshift. I love Microshift because it just does that trick for, well, usually vocals, but tracks that you need to sound more like, I don't know, kind of three-dimensional or like just, it's hard to describe it. You got to hear it, but it does that trick where it's a slight delay with a tiny bit of pitch shifting, and it sounds cool. And that's why it's the third plugin on this list, because I use it on nearly every music mix. I love my Lexicon Reverb, and I paid a lot of money for this. I bought it back in the day when the granddaddy was $1,000 and this one was like close to $400. And, I don't really regret it, because at the time, Lexicon plugins were the best darn sounding reverb plugins out there. And I wanted the best darn reverb plugin that I could afford. I wasn't going to drop $1,000 on a plugin, but this is great. And, it has 3 other plugins to go along with it that also sound great. And up until exponential audio came out, this was the one to use. Speaking of which, R2 is basically the Lexicon modern sound. It's a little bit different than PhoenixVerb. And if Michael Carnes was listening, he'd be like, no, Adam, it's a lot a bit different, but, whatever. Bottom line is, I don't use R2 as much as PhoenixVerb, but for vocals, yes, R2 is the one that I would use just for that classic type of sound. But if you can't afford LXP or R2 or PhoenixVerb, Cleverb, great sounding reverb. It has no latency. That's one thing that the Lexicon and the exponential audio ones cannot lay claim to. This plugin has 0 latency, meaning I can use it while recording if I so desire. And it sounds really good. I did review this plugin, I believe earlier this year, and I would have no problem using just this plugin if I didn't already have the other ones. But if I want some variety, I could use Cleverb, absolutely. And finally, although I should probably put this one above Cleverb, but IR1. I used to have IRL, and then I got IR1 because I wanted the 64-bit version. But anyway, IR1 is awesome. It is a convolution reverb, and check it out. So you have all these different reverb types. And you also have other impulse responses that you could download and try out. But, although PhoenixVerb, I usually just use that nowadays, I still come back to IR1 here and there, because there's just something about convolution reverb that I like. I like the one from Slate Digital too, but I just haven't bought it because honestly I have enough reverb plugins as it is. But, if I didn't have this or all the other ones, I would definitely try out the Slate. But it's called Verb Suite Classics, by the way. But anyway, all these plugins although I don't need to. Usually at some point, I'm definitely using Echoboy and PhoenixVerb on nearly every music mix. But the other ones, it's kind of just like, picking a flavor of ice cream.